Hi, this is Sive Morten with the daily update on EuroFX. I post my exclusive market overviews with the key political and economical events, charts and important levels on the ForexPeaceArmy.com forums weekly. This short video is a response to rapidly changing situation on the currency markets and should help you to stay on top of the game and be profitable. I suggest you to visit ForexPeaceArmy.com forum and read my analysis for the week before watching this daily video.
Greetings everybody, guys. Today we again will take a look at the Great British Pound, because on the last week we almost the whole week talk on the euro currency. But on the Great British Pound we also see a very interesting situation, and especially on the higher time frame charts. That's why I think that the weekly research and especially the discussion of monthly and weekly pictures could be really interesting for you. The point is that it's really amazing consequences of different patterns that is forming right now on the Great British Pound, that starts right from the monthly chart and down to the daily chart. It's really could be a great context for trading for the medium-term perspective on the Great British Pound. I will not be surprised if we will get the context for trading here for months. So that's really thrilling. That's really rare that you could when you could meet such sort of development on the sort of the action on the currency. And but the Great British Pound right now, at least potentially, but right now it's shows the signs that really could happen. Today it will be a bit difficult to talk separately and start right from the daily chart, because the daily chart in fact is the big part of the weekly chart, and it's better to understand and to read it in complex, starts from the weekly down to the daily. But we'll try to prepare the short-term trading plan. If you would like to know more, you will read our forum and read the whole analysis on the weekly research. So just to remind you what we have discussed last week, because on last week the weekly research also was dedicated to the Great British Pound. So last week we have discussed that right now pound shows the action that's not quite similar to the other European currencies, especially to the euro, although there's really significant relation between the euro currency and the Great British Pound. But I suspect that the nearest future will be really significant action on the euro GBP and GBP currency pair. So because in the recent week market mostly shows opposite action. On the Great British Pound last week we have discussed the possible reaching of the 150 area. And in general, we have come to conclusion that on the Great British Pound, market really could show the significant retracement up. Our next destination point stands in 155, 155.50 area. Maybe it will be reached on the next week, but most probably that it will take at least a couple of weeks for the market to reach this area. As we have this expectation, you could read about the reasons why we think so in the weekly research. Our first step was the reaching of 151.50 area, because this is weekly overbought and weekly confidence resistance area. The reason why we have come to this conclusion is failure breakout on the couple of weeks ago of this long ranged candle. That's really big resistance when you have such sort of the candle, because if market has failed to pass through it, it means with the high probability that market will reach the opposite border, and second will move approximately the same room, the same distance in the direction of the breakout. Because the market has failed to break to the downside, it will take an attempt to break to the upside. And as the target of this pattern usually stands the length of the candle itself counted in the direction of the breakout. That's an area between 155, 156. So the first stage of our trading plan has been completed, since market, you can see, has reached this area. But the problem is that although we have expected and expect right now the reaching of this area, it's really a big chance on the possible bounce down on the common week, at least in the beginning of the week, because for the same reasons, so the overbought and the strong weekly resistance. That's why it's very probable that market will show some bounce to the downside here. Before we'll proceed right to this area. So on the 4-hour time frame chart, we see that the most probable target of this retracement is this level. Because retracement should be significant, should be meaningful, not will be just small bounce down and upward continuation, because market is overbought, so on a weekly and on a daily. In these circumstances, market very often shows the deeper retracements, the meaningful retracements. And that level is very suitable for that purpose. Because take a look, that is the agreement, the combination of the monthly pivot point and the weekly pivot support one. And we know that when the market takes the pause in the upward trend, the bullish trend, it usually retraces right to the weekly pivot support one. So in other words, the weekly pivot support one holds the retracements in the bullish trend. Second, why I think that this area is very suitable for the possible retracement is the target. Take a look, that's the former consolidation. It reminds some sort of the neckline or something of that sort. But anyway, you can see that was the natural support resistance area. So it was resistance, resistance, again resistance, again resistance. Now it has been support, and the market right now has the chance to retest it again. Also, guys, we see some other signs of the tiredness of the market. That's a bit tired to move higher. It's this wedge pattern and the divergence with the MACD indicator. You can see some small divergence exist here, and they really have sense because they have appeared not just in the free space, but right below the weekly confluence resistance. So that's why it seems important. Well, and finally on the hourly chart we see that market has completed the butterfly sale pattern here. So you can see 1618 butterfly has been completed. And take a look. It also will be around 149.50 areas weekly pivot support, but it also will be the fib support, 3-8 fib support with the most recent up action. So theoretically, guys, we could suggest that retracement could be even lower, maybe to the 148, but it will not break the overall analysis, but the chances on this retracement is significantly lower, mostly because of that action. So take a look what the action we have. In 2 weeks in a row, market just shows the explosive thrust up, and in the recent week it just creeps and moves along with the daily overbought. It just doesn't show any step down out from the overbought condition, so just move along with this line. And that, take a look, is really significant. Moves above the overboughts, very small retracement, again above the overbought. So it's very, very significant. We see some really significant pressure to the upside. In such circumstances, the deep retracement right to the 148 area seems less probable. That's why our choice is the level around 149.50 area. So that's, in shortly speaking, that's our trading plan. First, in the beginning of the next week, or maybe it will take the whole week, we will expect the retracement down. The most probable target we suggest that's 149.50 area. After that, we expect that market will continue move higher to the next target around 155.50 area. If you would like to know what we expect after that, you could find the answer in our weekly research. So Great British Pound right now is really very interesting currency. It's really promising in action. It's really thrilling that it shows, and it's definitely worth of our attention.